Welcome back, everybody, to the third part of our series on the Dan Wootton and Lawrence Fox scandal. Guys, Dan Wootton has been flexing his muscles like a mosquito at a picnic, trying to prevent the mainstream media from reporting on the scandal, which has engulfed himself, Lawrence Fox, Calvin Robinson, and GB News. He's become quite the unwelcome guest, infesting the entire GB News crew like a rogue cockroach at a tea party. Anyway, without further ado, let's plunge into the story. Now, last week we heard that Prince William had some tech savvy advice for the world. I thought, say what now? The headline read Prince William tells tech leaders do more to counter cyberbullying. It's like he's taking a page out of Harry and Meghan's playbook. Or is he just playing catch up? Or maybe he's just catching feelings. If you haven't had the chance to watch the video, you can find the link in the card above. Can we talk for a minute about William's new approach in the run up to his eventual ascension to the throne? It appears that he's just now realized the need to demonstrate his worthiness for the throne. Although the specific details of this process remains a well-guarded secret, his recent endeavors seem to evolve around aligning himself with trending and popular causes in a bid to enhance his public image. However, there are several noteworthy issues with this approach that we should explore. Mistake number one, riding on Harry and Meghan's wave of popularity. Mistake number two, diving into courses without doing the groundwork, hoping his royal connections will do the heavy lifting. Mistake number three, a cursory glance at the royal family's social media accounts reveals a lack of tangible efforts to promote positive online interactions. Mistake number four, forgetting to build his own brand over time, unlike Harry and Meghan's strategic moves. Mistake number five, letting the media smear his own brother. This approach appears to be the vintage playbook, as outdated as a typewriter in a world of iPhones. This approach may have worked in the case of Princess Diana, Fergie, Sophie, and Edward, but in this Beyonce street, the public are just not having it. I am quite certain that he has his ear to the ground and knows exactly what the streets are saying. But in a typical fashion, he and Kate have made the decision to ignore everyone because they consider that their right-wing supporters are happy with what they are doing. Again, they're going to find out, same way they did when they went on that Caribbean tour. In summary, William's recent antics seem as unconvincing as a politician's smile, and because of that, he's not getting the respect he craves. Now, onto the irony train. William calls for tech companies to combat cyberbullying, while his own accounts host negativity and conspiracy theories about Meghan. This includes derogatory remarks about Meghan, unfounded conspiracy theories, and insinuations about her parenting. Talk about a royal double standard. Perhaps before he talks about cyberbullying, he should begin by addressing the negativity on his own account. What do you guys think? Let's not forget, today's British royal family is vastly different from the one that existed during the era of colonization. William might be in for a reality check when he fully grasps the change in dynamics. But for now, let's leave William to his identity crisis and get back to the three amigos. Last time we left off with Calvin Robinson getting the boot. It's a scandal that got Twitter buzzing like a beehive on caffeine. Even Cara Vorderman couldn't resist chiming in. It's clear she struggled to keep that tweet professional because she said, someone called Calvin Robinson has been suspended. I have no idea who he is, or almost all of them to be honest. But anyway, he's been suspended. The point being, are we witnessing a new channel implosion? It's happened before. Can you guys sense the struggle Carol was experiencing while she drafted this tweet? It seems like she was trying her very best not to be too shady. The next bombshell we received in this whole saga arrived in the form of an article from the Byline Times. This article alleged that Dan Wootton was under investigation for a 10-year catfishing campaign. This revelation was music to many ears, including mine, offering a sense of justice and a balm for the soul for those who have been following this story. The article shed light on the police investigation and catapulted the story into mainstream media. Subsequently, another journalist working with Byline Times tweeted excitedly, "Finally, a legacy media report about GB News that tackles the Wootton Fox issue and shows some teeth, validating of the work for at Byline Times. Well done at Evening Standard." It seems like this was the okay, or shall we say the green light, that the other media houses needed before everybody else started reporting about the Dan Wootton sex scandal allegations. But in a twist, the Press Gazette reported that Guardian and Mirror had been forced to take down the Dan Wootton story. I thought to myself, given the current political landscape, here we go. The Byline Times dropped a bombshell of an article accusing GB newsmen of sexual impropriety. I am sure that Dan Wootton and GB News did not see this coming, and they had some serious chest pains when they saw the headline, which read, "GB newsmen accused of sexual impropriety as channel engulfed by Wootton Fox misogyny storm." This was a game changer, exposing a multitude of allegations against GB News and its employees. The article reported that GB News had employed men with previous allegations of sexual misconduct, including rape and groping offenses. These individuals were not charged by the police. The network also faced allegations of sexism, harassment, and racism, and with claims that it initially dismissed these issues until journalists threatened to quit. Okay, for those who have not been following this story, let's look at the important points in this latest nuclear grade article from Byline Times. Okay, so the article reports that GB News has employed at least 5 men with previous allegations of sexual misconduct, including one accused of rape and 2 groping offenses. Like, what's in the water of this GB News? It just looks like all the evil journalists set up camp in the devil's HQ on earth called GB News. Anyway, we continue. One case involved GB News presenter Darren Grimes, who was accused of sexually harassing a male colleague. Initially hesitant to report the case, the complainant came forward when false accusations about him started to be spread by Darren Grimes, who was later suspended from his role when the complaints were made, but later reinstated with the support of Dan Wootton. GB News CEO Angelos Frangopoulos faced questions about the allegations, as it appears he did not conduct a thorough investigation into the matter as should have happened. My take, he should be fired. I have spent this much time on this article because it was chock-a-block full of bombshells. GB News faces significant challenges in upholding its reputation and addressing these concerns effectively. So where do they get off talking about other people? But hold on to your hats, folks, because more madness was in store. The bombshell news just keeps coming like a never-ending fireworks display. So Lawrence Fox, the man of the hour, found himself in hot water with the police after a dramatic house search video. The charges? Suspected conspiracy to commit criminal damage to ULEZ cameras and encouraging or assisting offenses. Lawrence Fox, come closer, let's talk. Are you having a midlife crisis? Or are you and your other amigos on a mission of self-destruction? Tell us. Right now we're ready to listen. And of course, our beloved Carol added her 2 cents. She said, Lawrence Fox arrested. He really isn't having a good day, is he? The shade. Utter shade. One of my new favorite accounts on Twitter, GB News Spin Room, reported that Calvin Robinson had appeared on Megyn Kelly's platform to lament the treatment he and Lawrence Fox had received. Although she seemed sympathetic during the interview, but Megyn Kelly mysteriously missed her usual Wednesday slot on GB News, which usually takes place right in the middle of Dan Wootton's show. These goings on are just like watching a chess match between Lawrence Fox and Dan Wootton, with unexpected moves and twists at every turn. Lawrence Fox even tweeted at one point, "Go quietly, Dan, go quietly." My goodness, are we in the midst of an apocalypse or something? None of this makes any sense. Anyway, when I saw the news reports on what happened next, I thought to myself, Lawrence Fox's tweet must have been in response to the report that Wootton has been sending legal warnings to the media houses who had reported on the catfishing allegations reported by Byline Times. This legal warning, sent by Dan Wootton's solicitors, resulted in a further article by Byline Times, who reported that major newspapers, including The Guardian and The Mirror, had deleted their reports that suspended GB News host Dan Wootton is now the subject of a Metropolitan Police investigation. According to Byline Times, the decision to delete the articles was a direct result of the legal warnings we have mentioned before now. Phew, the devil works hard, but Dan Wootton works harder. In a surprising twist, the Byline Times clarified the legal position regarding the publication of these stories. The editor of the Byline Times, Hardeep Matharu, expressed astonishment at the publishers' decisions to remove their Wootton stories, describing them as staggering. The executive director of the Byline Times suggested that this ongoing saga revealed much about the state of contemporary media. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some legal experts started sharing information online to protect themselves in case they receive slap notices. What is SLAP, you might ask? I'm so glad you asked. It means you're following me. So SLAP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation and is meant to scare folks away from getting involved in matters of public importance. It's almost like witnessing a courtroom drama with a plot twist you didn't see coming. Because no one was expecting this information to be shared online for the use of everyone who was talking about these Dan Wootton's allegations, right? But hold on a minute, before we go on to the next thing. Didn't Dan Wootton say he's the champion of freedom of speech? So what's with all this trying to block people from talking about it? It seems like there is a double, triple, quadruple, whatever standard in play right now. He can dish it out, but he doesn't want others to give it back. Someone needs to report his solicitors to the Law Society. Speaking of double standards, the Attorney General, Victoria Prentice KC, MP, urged media outlets and citizens to tread lightly to avoid disruptions to a fair judicial process, which only goes to show that government people are in on the attempt to silence everyone from discussing matters. In other words, they do try to manipulate public perception. Of course, this is not new, but what is new is seeing it being done so blatantly. But I have to ask, where was this concern when the media were making baseless claims about Harry and Meghan? It's also clear that media personalities will do whatever it takes to push back against these allegations, even if it's true and there is more than enough evidence to prove that they actually committed the offenses which they are being accused of committing. Seems like over time they've convinced themselves that they are untouchable. But now the chickens have come home to roost, and it's quite the spectacle. As if that wasn't enough, Kate Mansi, a senior executive at the Mail on Sunday and a prominent Royal Rota member, is stepping down. Can everybody say yay, yo, yay? At this point, I'm in continuous dance mode. Someone said, It's like Harry and Meghan's critics are dropping like flies, and the royal rotor's allure is fading faster than a shooting star. Yes, 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 yes. But this was not the news we have been waiting for, right? GB News, what gives? It seems like Dan Wootton has been flexing his muscles behind the scenes to prevent his firing. What's intriguing is how Dan Wootton's connections to the palace may also be working behind the scenes. I mean, the Sussex Court Detective Agency went back to the archives and dug out this story. In this article, we are reminded that Dan Wootton was the one who first broke the William affair rumors, after which he switched from political reporting to royal reporting. Why and how did that happen? What secrets does Dan Wootton hold over the palace? As we eagerly await further developments in this ever unfolding saga, one thing remains clear: the story is far from over. Do you believe Dan Wootton will ultimately face the axe at GB News? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you wish to contribute to the campaign against Dan Wootton keeping his job, please join the complaint campaign against Dan Wootton to Ofcom. The link to complain to Ofcom will be in the description box of this video. Stay tuned for our next video, which will wrap up this series unless unforeseen events drag us back to the story. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, and share this video far and wide. And of course, ring the notification bell so you never miss our next update. Until next time, stay focused, keep shining, and keep thriving. Bye!